So I have prepped the canvas with a thin even coat of liquid white, and now I'm going to put my brush into some cadmium yellow and load it up. And start in the center with crisscross strokes. I'm going to deposit this color. And then I'm going to deposit some more below the horizon. And then I just want to blend that a little bit. And without washing my brush, I'm going to go into a bit of red. And I'm going to surround the yellow that I've put on the canvas already. Again, little crisscross strokes. And then I'm going to put some below the horizon as well. We're going to have water below, so this is going to be a bit of a reflection. I would like to take a clean 2-inch brush now and blend these two colors together so there's not a distinct line. And to blend out any brush strokes that there may be. And I'll do the same below. I'm going to take a 2-inch brush and I'm going to load it with a little bit of phthalo blue. We'll put a little blue in the sky. Starting in the corners, again crisscross strokes across the top, but much darker in the corners. And I'm going to go almost down to the red. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to pull in some water down below. Being careful not to cover all of the reflections that I've put in already. I'd like to take my towel cleaned brush, put a little bit of red into my brush and tap it very, very hard so I won't have any brush lines. And I'd like to blend these two together now, so there are no harsh lines. With crisscross strokes again, that will help them blend. And if I go straight across, I can just kind of bring this all together. Now with my blue brush, I can go into a little bit more blue and then a little bit of red and make kind of a purple color. And I'd like to come in here and make some cloud shapes. Just using the corner of my brush Just going to come in here and do little circular motions, laying in my clouds. And then I'll vary my color a little bit on the other side to the red side. And just use the corner of my brush again to lay in some cloud shapes. Maybe some just at the horizon here on this side. And I'd like to take a clean brush and come up here and with small circular motions just blend out the bottom of these clouds, soften them just a bit. And then I'd like to fluff them. I'm just going to wipe my brush off on a paper towel and come in here and do this side. And all I'm doing right now is just blending these clouds to soften them a bit. And then I'm going to fluff them up, both of them, on this side. And lay them right into the painting. Now at this point I'm going to put some land in. So I want to take a very dark mixture and some phthalo green and load my brush pretty well. I'm also going to push up to load the end of my brush completely. I'm going to take this paint and I'm going to figure out where I'd like to lay my land in my painting today. Reload my brush, a little bit of phthalo green, push up, reload, and finish laying in my land. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down because I'd like a reflection in the water. And then I'm going to go across. Now I'd like to take my small knife, and I've got a mixture of liquid white and dark sienna. And I'm going to scrub in a water line. And you want to scrub this in pretty hard. I want to take my highlighting brush and I want to put it into some cad yellow. And a little bit of white. I'm also going to add a bit of green. I'm going to make sure that my brush is completely loaded. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do a few highlights. Being careful not to cover all of the dark up. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to pull out my dark brown flat and cut across and get a little roll of paint. And I'm going to put a rocky shore on my land. Just to break it up a little bit. And wipe the knife off. And then I'm going to take my highlight color, which is just a mixture of dark sienna and titanium white. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to highlight these rocks. Then I'm going to go back to my highlight brush and just set those rocks. By putting some highlights around. And I'd like to take my dark brush again that I put my land in with. And I'm going to go into my phthalo green. One direction. I'd like to load this brush very well with a lot of paint. I'm going to go ahead and put in a tree. Then I want to come in with my knife. And I'm just going to kind of scrape in a trunk and some branches, mostly in my dark area. And that easy, we put in a trunk. After that's completed, I'm going to go ahead and go back in my dark color and put that in my brush with a little of the phthalo green and push up, make sure that my brush is loaded, and come in here and put a little peninsula of land in. And I want to make sure I pull down and across to show the reflection in the water. And I want my small knife again. And I want to pull the liquid white and the dark sienna out flat and cut across. Start from small to large and cut in that shoreline. At this point I want to take my highlighting brush again and load it up with some more cadmium yellow. And a little bit of yellow ochre. And highlight some bushes on this peninsula. I'm going to load that brush up a little bit more, and I'm going to come in here and do what I call reverse highlighting. And all I did was turn that brush over and put highlights in upside down. And very lightly, you can set that right into the painting. If you mess up your waterline, you can come back in and put it back in. I'm going to come in here and put another peninsula of land. Pull straight down. And across very lightly. Small knife. cut across, and make another waterline. Take your highlighting brush and load that up with some yellows. And let's vary the color just a little bit. And then press up to load our brush. We'll just come in here and do a few more highlights. And take my dark brush, load it up, and come in here and make one more area of land. Pull the reflection. And go across. Grab your knife, go across your liquid white and dark sienna mixture. Again, scraping your waterline. And use your highlight brush to go into some yellows. And this time let's flip it up and do some highlights upside down. Just to vary the way, since we're using the same brush, just to vary the way the paint goes onto the canvas. Come and pull the reflection down and across. Let's go in here with our big brush and load that up really well. I want a lot of paint in this brush, so we'll load it one direction and make sure that our brush is rounded on this end, and come in here and put some land in. Again, load up the brush, lots of paint, and come in here and fill this up with color. And I want to take my knife and go through my dark brown, just cut across, get a little roll of paint. Come in here and make some rock shapes. And maybe one down here in the corner. You want to leave enough paint on your canvas to have some texture in it. And then I want to take my highlight color, get a little roll of paint, and come in here and highlight these rocks. A little bit more. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to mix a dark color together, just some green and my mountain mixture. And cut across and get a little roll of paint. And I want to come up here and just by touching and pulling my knife, I can make some tree trunks. Take another little roll of paint and make another tree trunk right here. I have that one a little bit thicker. And we'll just make another branch coming up. Now I want to take my highlight color and come in here and just touch and leave some of that highlight color on there. And since the light is coming this direction, our lightest point is going to be in front of the trees. Okay? I'm going to now take a little bit of white and mix it in with my phthalo blue that we started out with. I'd like it to stay marbled. I'm going to come in here and just lay down the back shadow. With my dark brush, I'd like to come in and grab some dark color again. Really load up this brush. And come in here and make some dark tree branches. We'll put some on this tree. I'm going to take my script liner through some brown and a little bit of my dark color. I'm going to spin this brush to a point. I'm going to come in here and just make some sticks and twigs, maybe some grasses that are sticking up. Get a little more of my thinner. And with my highlight brush again, go through some yellow. We're going to highlight our trees. And this first tree I'd like to be quite yellow. Not too much, we don't want to cover up all of our dark. And for the second one, let's go into a little bit more of our yellow ochre. And just make a few highlights on that tree too. Now I'd like to vary the color a little bit more. And add a little bit of my Indian yellow and come in here. And do some more highlights. You can also set the rocks in by putting some highlights around the rocks. Well, I think we're finished. All we need to do is sign it.